If you lost technology, what would you do different?
I think I'd be happy. You know? Because really, I feel like our world kind of needs a little bit of no technology just for a little bit. Just see what happens.
Says the guy with the cell phone still works.
I know. Mine still works. Yeah.
Says the guy who wants to play Fortnite as a career.
Yeah, right. Hey, go back in time. I'd be a millionaire. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like obviously people are panicking just because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. But
I
like,
think it was panicking.
Call 911.
I can't call 911. Why would you ever need to call? Go to school to be EMT. Then you don't need to call anybody. Jeez.
My first thought was how the students are responding to this. Because I mean, I don't know. When I was in school, they didn't really have Wi-Fi. I don't know if they have Wi-Fi that they can access at the school.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think
That's
so.
what I was thinking. And so a lot of
wonder-
like how many of these teachers are like,
Part of
"Wow,
me is like, we should
can
go to
actually get
school."
some stuff done.
Part of me is like, we ought to go to the school today just to see what's going on.
We should have gone mobile.
Just to see the chaos.
Hostile.
Yeah, just to see what's going on. Like,
Hostile.
just to be a fly on the wall. I don't want to interrupt. I just want to monitor, you know?
Remember Titans? Mobile, hostile.
I'm talking about Dark Knight.
I know.
Time
Oh,
to go mobile.
is that supposed to be Bane?
I can't do Bane.
I was about to say, it sounded like Forrest Gump.
I
wasn't
do
no
Bane.
Time to go mobile.
Cusco. Cusco. Yeah. Cusco. Secret potion.
So,
What would I do differently without technology?
Yeah, so is that what you're saying, like, in general?
yeah. Like if technology goes down.
I wouldn't drive because I'm terrible at locations and navigating. I'd buy a map.
Yeah, how did you get to church this morning?
Yeah. I know how to get to.
How'd you know the way?
I was freaking out, man.
You got lost.
Farm.
He was like an hour and a half late.
Yeah, that's how I'd read a book, do seminary. It's not like
I guess I could still do
You'd have to
my
drive to
job,
seminary.
but
You wouldn't be able to do
It'd be a lot
seminary. You
more
got to be
difficult.
there. No internet.
no technology.
No technology. You would have to drive out there, dude.
I'll just read my
No.
Bible then.
Can't drive.
Technology is gone.
Oh,
Driving is
so I
part
can't
of
drive?
technology. Like, you don't have to have electric to necessarily.
Okay.
Well, I guess a battery.
I gotta learn how to stick shift.
Right? Do you know how your car starts?
That's it.
From
Electric.
hard oil and engine stuff. Not. I don't know.
There is electricity in starting your
my
vehicle.
there is, but
What'd you make on your ASVAB?
don't even know what that is. So probably a bad score if I
I
don't
don't know how
know.
an engine works.
Well, I mean, I'm not an engineer.
Even your
you know,
engine that
but-
you have.
Do what?
Even the engine you have would.
So
still
what about
use
like the
electricity.
super old like wagon vehicles that like were first made?
Wagon? Yeah, I'm sure that would work.
No, I'm talking about like the
Talking about a
very
crank
first
car?
like the very first car ever
a
created.
crank engine?
Yeah. You know, there
I
was.
mean, if you want to go
Oh,
find
electric.
one, pop it in your vehicle. I don't think you can go anywhere.
I don't know. I feel like my truck. I
two
mean, like if you
horsepower.
took everything that I think is electric out of it,
Truck?
it's a 99.
Yeah, it's
You'd probably be all right.
That's what I'm saying.
No, he still has electricity.
I have
to
a
start
battery,
his
but like
vehicle.
I got
if
my
I could just
93
spark
Chevy.
it, you know, I think I could get it running and then.
But it's not relying so much on a computer.
No.
No, but there's still electricity.
Like for example, like
And no electricity.
yeah.
Right?
But
He is.
hold on. But is electricity necessarily technology?
what? How does technology run?
Well, I mean,
A lot of
obviously
our
on
technology
electricity,
today-
but electricity exists without technology, but technology doesn't exist without electricity.
Game
it's all natural.
Game master.
That is
Oh,
true.
Do we have
gosh.
technology?
At
Do
the
we have
root, it is all
electricity?
natural.
Do we have
So, do we see what I'm
electricity?
saying though? Are y'all picking up? Are y'all smelling what I'm stepping
Going
in?
to tell us. Do we have electricity?
Yo, the wheel is freaking technology, all right?
Let's say it this way.
Electronics. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Electronics. There is literally elect in the word.
Nah.
All right, let's just say it this way. You went back to 1980s technology.
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't know. What
I'd be happy with that. I've actually I've said I kind of wish I grew up in that time frame and not now.
So a couple of years ago, I looked at Hattie and I said, "All right, I challenge you to a week of living in the 80s."
Mm-hmm.
She did away with her phone. She
Yeah.
did away with only watching like TV, like over-the-air antenna TV,
Mm-hmm.
and reading and playing games, whatever. But we went back to
That's kinda
a week
fun.
living in the 80s.
Was it fun?
Yeah, she had a blast.
That's see, I
She
don't know.
did it.
Because
play Pokemon
I go
Go.
back and forth. I haven't been playing it actually, so I know it's kind of sad. Sorry to bum you guys out, my fans. But yeah, no zombies. That would be tough. But it would be it would be super cool growing up and then experiencing zombies for the first time. You know, not growing up with zombies, but just being like, how did we make this? And then there we go. Not real life zombies. I'm talking about Call of Duty. Hopefully, real life zombies doesn't happen, but
I don't think it's possible.
you never know nowadays.
Your train of
Right.
thought is interesting.
Yeah.
But in my mind, because like, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think in 1980 time frame, like technology is around, but it's not like relied on. Well, it's relied on.
I
don't
no
know.
idea what it was like back
I
in
would
the
like to
80s.
grow up in that time frame. I think I would have enjoyed growing up in that time frame. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't hit the 80s. I had the 90s, and it was still great.
90s were pretty legit too.
Yeah.
80s.
Because for me,
90s was kind of the bridge between eras.
because when I was in, I think it was fifth or sixth grade. That's when the
Still
iPhone
had
came
Atari.
out. So I don't know life without
Definitely.
like middle school. I don't know. Well, iPods and stuff like that were made, but I think the first iPhone. Really?
It's 2009.
Oh, so I was in fifth grade though. So fifth grade, yeah.
You don't know life before.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I don't like all of middle school. I don't know without like iPods and like I mean without this. I don't know life without
Remember
this because I've
Google.
had this since middle school. And I've always thought I'm like I kind of wish I didn't grow up with that. You know what I mean? Because I think
Remember-
Instagram came out around that same time frame. So I don't know.
Nah, Instagram was like
2011. It was 2011, I
Yeah.
think. Because I remember everybody freaked out about it in 6th and 7th grade, so we all had to get it and everything. So I've had Instagram since I was 11.
thought it was dumb.
I didn't have a phone until sophomore year of high school
Impressive.
or social media till
Impressive.
I graduated high school.
Got a flip phone my senior year that I bought with my own minutes and my own.
Man, I was having to run up and down the hall, and I had my phone in one pocket and my iPod in another pocket, and so my pants kept pulling down, so I'd always have to pull them up because I'd try to catch up to all my buddies. You know, flip phone, slide, touch screen, all that, but then an iPod. Y'all didn't experience that life?
No,
No.
I
Carson, are
didn't-
you
I
nodding your
never
head
had
like you
an
did it too?
iPod,
Okay,
actually.
good. I was about to say, there's no way I'm the only
I had an
person.
MP3 and I had a Zune. I had a Zune.
Oh, you were that guy.
I was that guy.
A Zune.
Microsoft.
My original iPod is down in my office right now.
I
I
have mine
wasn't
at my parents'
old
house. I
enough
can go
to
get it.
really get one. We didn't have a whole lot of money growing up.
Oh, yeah?
so-
A 30 gig iPod.
They were like boom. They were huge. Yeah.
I remember my first year wrestling in 5th grade. I didn't have an iPod yet, but I had like an MP3 player, and you had to download the songs to it and all that.
LimeWire.
I remember just like getting so mad
Yeah,
because
Napster.
my mom would like look at the MP3 player and it would just give you like half the title of the song. And my brother always got in trouble in middle school. Sorry for calling you out, Turner, for getting the explicit songs, right? So you go on iTunes and he'd be like, oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. But since we all shared the same account, I would just download the songs. And so sometimes I would get an explicit song here or there. And my mom would look at the thing and it would just like, the title would like move, and if she saw in parentheses E at the end, she just took it from me. So I'm looking around at these wrestling tournaments, and all these other kids are like hyping themselves up, probably with just some
Bars
hardcore
listening
Disney
to
song.
VeggieTales.
And no, I didn't get to listen to anything. I'm just standing there. Yeah, I'm just standing there listening to nothing, and I'm like, guys, I can't get hyped up because my 2 songs that I like to listen to aren't there. But yeah.
Man, y'all didn't have to live through I had a jacket that was made to hold a CD player.
That's pretty cool.
What? Golly, I did not know that.
And I would run. Yeah, and you would walk around, and when the anti-skip came around,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
didn't really work all the time, but the anti-skip came around, that was huge.
Anti-skip.
So basically, there's a retina that reads the disc, and if the disc wobbled at all, it would kind of skip in the song or whatever. And so they had I guess the anti-stick was, or
You know how a CD works?
Yeah,
talking to me or-
it
You know how a
spins.
record player works?
Yeah, I have a record player.
So CD is pretty much the same thing.
So he
but
skipped
laser
something.
instead
Yeah.
of a physical needle.
In the advancement of technology, he skipped it.
I
So that's
did,
what
Hear me
that
out.
was.
When did you get your record player?
like in college.
When iPhones were out.
I like
we
record players.
we keep going back to the vintage.
I gotta get a new. It's actually broken. I don't know what happened. It just won't.
I feel like that's for people like our age. I feel like that's very true. Is that they didn't get like It's not like, oh, my grandma had a record player and I've always had the record player. It's like, no, I want a record player, and they went out and got it.
Bluetooth and USB.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is
No, that's
true.
my brother.
It's a
He was like,
newer-
look at this record player. I got it at a garage sale, and then he plugged his phone into it and started playing music. I'm like, that's not a record player. That's
no.
an amplified just speaker that looks
I have
cool.
My record player from when I was.
My grandma does, and like we'll go over and put something on, and like Michael Jackson or something like that, and just put it on there.
We
My Dixman.
we moved around so many times that we just didn't hold on to stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a whole lot
Easier
of
to
that.
sell it and then just, or not
We
even
didn't
sell.
even- yeah. Like all my Hot Wheels I had growing up, gone.
Hot Wheels vintage.
Legos gone. All that stuff's so expensive now.
Yeah.
One time I went to a garage sale, bought a, or not a garage sale, it was a Goodwill. Went to Goodwill, bought a Hot Wheels car, and then sold it on eBay for like triple the profit. That's how you get rich.
That's what I'm saying. $4.
No, I mean, like, I legit, I guess it was like rare, but it wouldn't sell for as much as, like, there were some people buying it. It had like flames all down the side, like one of the original Hot Wheels. There were some people buying it for literally like $500, but it had a scratch on the wheel, so nobody would buy it for that. But I sold it for $50, and I bought it for like literally like,
The
Under $1, I
collecting
feel like. It
cards,
was in the
that
bin
was a
that you
huge
just grab
deal
them.
when I was younger.
Yeah.
Loved collecting cards. Now it's like, what's the point?
Market flooded.
Yep. Everyone's like, oh, let's get in on this.
George Kittle card. Thank you for that.
I do. That's one of my favorite things to do is buy a card for people.
I like my Justin Tucker.
Yep.
You can put the Chihuahua there again if you want.
Cool. All right, everybody, next week, live in the 80s.
Okay,
Get your technology.
okay. I'll dress like it too.
Bro, 80s
You never
fashion
know.
was pretty cool. It was. I love the 80s fashion.
I'm not all about the 80s fashion, but I'm going to do it. You know, I'm not saying like I want to dress like that, but
I'm not
I'll do
going to
it.
go buy a bunch of 80s stuff.
I'm just going to go raid my dad's
Vintage
closet.
windbreakers.
Raid your dad's.
Yeah, I'm just going to raid my dad's
Have you
closet.
seen those posts?
Bro,
of,
I
like,
used
people-
to wear windbreakers all the time.
Bro, windbreakers, like the posts, like the NFL coaches, like
Yeah.
in the 70s and 80s, they were like, NFL coaches were dripped
Starter
out.
jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things were legit.
I still
So many of those when I worked.
Poshmark, man. I'm always looking for a starter's jacket.
I think they're cool.
Yeah, we sold a ton of those when I was working in the mall.
Is it the payphone thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The phone booth not getting any signal on my beeper.
Yeah.
Oh, we should man, if we could find enough 80s stuff by next week to wear on the
Just-
podcast next week,
This whole room. Just change it.
80s.
that'd be fun.
Take out everything in this view besides the mics that isn't like of the 80s.
We should bring Rick in and see how it was when he was a kid.
I'd be like, it's like the
Be a
50s or
completely
60s,
different
isn't it?
life.
I'd enjoyed that.
When
That'd
was
be
Rick
fun.
born? 50s, 60s?
Rick?
50s, I believe.
I was about to say, isn't he like 60 years old right now?
That would make it.
Not 50s.
That would.
Like 62, 63?
Is he younger or older than mine? How old is he right
He's
now?
like 60 something.
He's like
61,
60,
isn't he?
63, I thought.
Oh, I don't know.
My
He's
dad
in
would-
low 60s. He's not high 60s. He's low.
He's born in the 60s.
Yeah,
Should we
okay.
FaceTime?
Hey,
Hey,
Rick.
how old are you?
Anyway, let's jump into recaps so we can move on. 60s.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all start.
Well, you taught.
I know, that's something y'all taught.
Fair.
Y'all start.
Well, last night Zach taught, and there were many distractions that Satan tried to put in front of us
Amen.
called Amber Alerts.
Yeah, they were.
And for some reason, even though my Amber Alert on my phone went off, literally like at 6 o'clock, him teaching around 6:30 time frame, everybody's was still going off, and it makes no sense. Like I thought they were all supposed to go off at the same time.
Well, there's a lot of phones you gotta
I
send
guess.
to.
And I
That's
mean,
what
now that
caused
we
it.
see that there's
Yeah.
no technology happening right now, who knows? Maybe it was starting early. Who knows? You never know. Right. But talking about love, right? How to love people.
Or how to live your
Well,
lifestyle.
I mean, how to live. Well, that was one of the main
Your
takeaways I
lifestyle
heard from my
for-
students was they liked how you talked about how like Jesus loved everybody you came in contact with, and how like when we live our life, you know, we're supposed to live a life that loves people differently than how the world is kind of living their life or whatever. But so it's your lesson. You talk about it. I was just trying to spark into it real quick.
Just this idea, and it was really leaning into this idea that you need to, as Christians, you have to live your life differently, and there has to be a distinct difference between your life as a Christian and when compared to non-Christians, because then it's like, what's the point, right? Because if we say this is a life-changing message, but there's no life change,
Yeah.
it's like we're selling, like for lack of a better word, selling a fake product. It's
Yeah.
there's no life change that happened, and you can go in a lot of different directions on that about different areas. You're supposed to about how you live your life to honor God, but we didn't have time for that. So I just simply simplified it and Jesus simplified it in this idea of the 2 greatest commandments: to love God with everything you have, and to love people. And what I said was, man, if you love God with everything that you have, as a result, you will love people. Right? That's just a natural result of a relationship with God. And what I encouraged them to do was not to just walk in here on Sundays and Wednesdays and put on what I said, a Christian name tag, and then take it off when you leave this church, right? Because that makes no difference. Like, you might as well not even call yourself a Christian at that point.
Well, yeah,
Checking a box. That's all that is at that point.
I agree with that. And I also think something we've got to make sure that we're doing is showing grace and forgiveness, because we are human. We're going to make mistakes. Being able to extend that grace and forgiveness to people who are young in their faith and learning how to be a Christian is really important, because you see a lot of Christians who will attack or eat each other up because they're like, oh, you're not living the way you're supposed to, and it's like, well, maybe that person hasn't, because like, for an example I use a lot is when I first became a Christian, and it was in the summer before my senior year, and it was like a couple weeks before two-a-days. And so we're in two-a-days, we're running through drills, we're getting to tackling and stuff like that. I remember messing up on something and just started cussing. And just words were flying. And one of my buddies who really helped me in my walk, he's just kind of like, hey, we don't do that. And that was huge for me, because he didn't like call me out in front of people. He didn't like yell at me or anything like that.
His goal wasn't to embarrass you.
Yeah, it was just, hey man, we don't do that.
That's awesome.
And it was a good reminder. I mean, I still struggled with that, and may even struggle with that today. But yeah, being able to show grace to people, I think I mean, that's something that Jesus did.
One thing I've actually always been told from my grandma is she always said you could tell a difference on who follows Jesus versus who doesn't follow Jesus based on how they love people. Because even like all these TV shows and stuff or not TV shows, but like reality TV shows, if they're like, oh, we want to love these people well, so here's a check for $500,000 or something like that, or like here's a card and like all this other stuff. But like true love isn't just like, oh, hey, you know what, I'm gonna buy this for you. It's like, hey, I care about you enough that I want to talk about Jesus with you and stuff. And our world, if they don't know who Jesus is, they don't know what love is really and everything, because it says that Jesus is love. So if you don't know what love is, you're going to base it off what is valued in the world, not what's valued in the kingdom.
Well,
and so you're just going to be like, hey, take this, take that. And
a lot of people show love because they're going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And so reading in Bible reading plan today.
Oh, yeah.
He said true religion is taking care of orphans and widows, because orphans and widows can't reciprocate any kind of, like, there's no benefit to you, in doing that, because they're not going to be able to repay you. Yeah. And so, how important that's true love. That's sacrificial love, saying, I'm giving up my time or my money or my possessions to help someone who will never be able to pay me back. Kind of like what God did for us. Yeah. We can never pay God back for what he gave us, which is Jesus.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And that's what I think that's what awesome when Jesus was speaking in Matthew 22, when he said that, and I said, like, it almost does seem like a cause and effect relationship, because like, you love God with everything you have. Truly, if it's in your heart, you love God. It's the first thing that's gonna be created in your life is love, right? And so, and there is a balance between it, because there's some days in my own life where I'm like, gosh, why do I keep misrepresenting God? I keep messing up, and that's when I ended the lesson by telling people about just a story in my life and how I've messed up so much, and how I encourage them to understand that it's not about living perfectly, right? Because like, I told them, I don't want you to walk out here thinking you have to live perfectly, because that's not the call. But I told them, if you walk out of here every Sunday and Wednesday, and it's every single day of the week, you're never even caring or trying to live for God, then that's when there might be an issue. And that's when you have maybe someone like your friend maybe looking at you and saying, "Man, like you need to get back on track." Because it's hard. It's hard to live a Christian life.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, because a lot of people who maybe if they're Christian and they're not living for God, they don't understand how hard it is because they're not trying to live for God and they're just living like everyone else. But it is hard to say no to the things that you want in life. But then that's the whole concept of there's rewards in heaven that will be for those who have lived for God on this earth.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard. And some days I get mad at myself because I'm just like,
Well, I think how the church is messed up, and this is where Jesus battled with the Pharisees often, is they and the church today preach you got to follow these rules.
Yeah, check a bunch of boxes.
Well, just follow, like, you've got to do what the Bible commands, which is something like we should, but it's not based out of following rules. It's based out of that love you're talking about.
Yeah.
That love of God. Jesus says, if you love me, you'll obey my commands, right?
Yeah.
And it's that cause effect. If we truly love God, we are going to honor him with our words. If we truly love God, we're not going to commit adultery by looking at someone in a lustful way. If we truly love God, we're not going to hate our neighbors. We're going to love our neighbors and our enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah. Good lesson. Good lesson.
Anything else you wanted to add to it?
Hope you have fun at Impact.
What note was that?
What note was that?
D minor.
I don't know.
That's not a note.
I said D. I said D.
That doesn't.
Love you guys.
You can manage to
See
record
you
on your own.
on Wednesday.
Not quite.
That wasn't bad though.
You can't sing a chord on your own.
He's not
A chord
grasping.
I don't know what that means.
He doesn't know music.
You can.
Y'all already made fun of me for trying to teach myself how to play the drums one time. Okay, and it's
Wait, I didn't make fun of you because I wasn't there.
well.
I would have made fun of
Yeah.
you. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, I think it was like Grace and I can't remember who else walked in with her. I thought it was you, maybe not. But somebody came in like 2 years ago and they made fun of me because it was like a Friday morning, like nobody's even here at the church. And I was in there with my phone propped up on the drums. I was trying to teach myself how to play the drums. YouTube videos didn't work. I don't know anything about music, so whatever they were telling me, it just didn't make sense. I just tried to memorize how he was hitting the drums and it didn't work.
Gotta keep the beat.
I don't even know where the beat was. Lost it.
Yeah, I can't find a beat. I can't. I'm so bad musically.
Don't stop the beat.
But love people well and serve the kingdom. Modern day evangelism.
Tell somebody you love them.
Yeah. Ooh.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week, we talked about serving, listening, how you live, and then next week it's sharing. Actually,
Sharing.
straight up doing it.
Sharing the
How you going to
gospel.
share the gospel? Tune in next week to church and then this to find out. Don't just watch these. Come to church as well. Deuces. I was about to say, we're not saying bye. like what are we doing? We just keep on talking.
Yes.